One thing that I will always do is invest in myself because I know that I am worth the investment. And I didn't always realize that, okay? There used to be a time where I would try to penny pinch and say, oh no, why would I pay someone to teach me how to do X, Y, and Z when I can learn myself, da 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 da. But one thing I realized is that never got me anywhere. If anything, it forced me to stay stuck because I refused to surround myself with someone who knew more than me. For those of you guys who are new to the channel, hello, my name is Jasmine, and I'm so glad to have you. I've been investing in myself now for the past 6 years. I started when I started my online business. I've said in previous videos how it all got started, but I had a 9 to 5 that I absolutely hated, and OnlyFans was popping. This was during COVID, right? So I heard so many people talking about all this money that these girls are making, and I said, well, shoot, where do I sign up? Because I hate my 9 to 5, so let's go make some work, right? So I quit my 9 to 5 and I started my OnlyFans. And when I first started, I had no clue what I was doing. I had never been on social media before. I never took pictures or anything. Like back then I was using social media as a way to just connect with people from college and high school and past coworkers, right? So I had no idea how to build a personal brand or anything. And I was doing it for a few weeks, but I wasn't making any progress because I didn't know what I was doing. And so I decided to hire a coach that I had found through the grapevine who basically taught you how to make money on OnlyFans. And she was charging $200 a month. And, back then, well, I mean, even to this day, $200 is a lot of money. But back then, it was really a lot of money for me because I didn't have no money because I had quit my job. And so, I had my credit cards were maxed out, damn near. I only had $200 to my name, and I was trying to figure out, gosh, do I give this lady this $200 or do I hold on to my $200, right, and figure it out on my own? But I came to the realization, I was like, well, I haven't figured it out yet. All I'm doing is wasting time. I could give her this 200, she could teach me how to make this money, and I can make this money and be on my merry way, right? So, after going back and forth for a few hours, I didn't take days to make the decision, I took a few hours. I gave her my $200, maxed out my last credit card, and not only did I learn how to make money on OnlyFans, not only did I make my 200 back within the first 30 days by doing all the things that she taught me to do, but then the following month I made $5,000, which is more than what I had ever made at my job. Okay, and every single month after that, I was slowly making more and more and more, and that was the initial push that I needed to allow me to realize the best investment is the investment that you make into yourself. And I don't know why more people don't realize that, because people will invest in college degrees, and I have one too, okay? But in the grand scheme of things, colleges and universities are the real scammers because they're charging you all this money just to graduate, just to be in student loan debt, just to make $30,000 and $40,000 a year, and then they convince you that you need to go and get a master's or a PhD just so you can make $50,000 and still have even more debt and waste more of your time. So people will invest in themselves when it comes to college and university. But anything else? Absolutely not. They refuse. They think it's a waste of time. They can learn it on their own. There was another thing that I did where I invested in myself. I had been overweight, obese, really, for an extremely long time. And year after year after year, I had said to myself, I'm going to lose this weight. I'm going to cut back. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to go to the gym, and I'm going to lose this weight. I was 340 pounds. I'm 6'3". And year after year, I wasn't getting it done. I was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? I had came to a realization, okay, obviously, I don't know what I'm doing. It's clear. It's evident. It's clear as day. Because if I truly knew how to lose weight, I would have done it by now. I don't know what I'm doing. And instead of me sitting in my ego and pride and, trying to convince myself that I just need to try harder, right? I decided to do something different. I decided to invest in myself again, and I decided to hire a personal trainer. Best decision I ever made in my life. Not only did I lose 100 pounds, I have since kept that weight off for 4 years. You don't know everything. I don't know why, as a society, we have convinced ourselves that we know everything and that we can do all things by ourselves. That's not true. That is the biggest lie that you were sold. You don't know everything. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news. You don't know a lot of things. You know less than what you think you know. And instead of you investing in yourself, you'll try to convince yourself you just need to watch more YouTube videos. You just need to watch more Instagram reels. You just need to ask ChatGPT more questions. One thing that I realized is I always do better when I'm around someone or working with someone who's already where I want to be. So when it came to the coach teaching me how to make money on OnlyFans, she was already making $10,000 a month. When it came to my personal trainer, he was already lean. He already had muscles. He already knew how to eat a well-balanced diet. It's always been with people who are where I want to be. And most of the time, the people that you're around in your day-to-day, they're not where you want to be. If they were, you would already be there too. I believe that we're a product of our environment. You are a reflection of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And you're not above the program, okay? That rule, that logic applies to you in your life, okay? You're not the exception to the rule. If the people around you were truly productive people, you would be productive too. If the people around you were already living healthy lifestyles and at their best fitness levels, you would be there too. If the people around you were already successful entrepreneurs, you would be one too. But 9 times out of 10, you're not. And instead of you getting around people who are where you want to be, you want to save a couple of dollars and figure it out on your own just to stay stuck exactly where you are. That's what you choose to do. I have proven to myself time and time and time again that when I invest in myself, I always get the results that I want. It has never been a time where it hasn't happened. It has never been a time where that has not happened. And something else too is that person that you invest in, they hold you accountable. Because when I first started trying to lose weight, I wasn't fully on board with the eating right process, right? I was going to the gym, I was showing up, my trainer was putting me through the workouts, yes, but I wasn't fully invested in the eating right portion. You got weight loss is 80% what you eat, okay? Really 90%. Weight loss is 90% exercise, 90% nutrition, 10% exercise, which is why people can still lose weight and not exercise, because it's your nutrition more than anything else, okay? So I was doing the 10%, which was showing up at the gym. We were working out 4 times a week. I was doing that part, but I was not doing the 90% part, which was cutting my calories. He had already told me what to eat. He had already told me how many calories to stay under, and I still wasn't doing it. Well, after a few weeks, he could see I hadn't lost no weight. And it's not, we couldn't sit there and say it's lack of exercise because he's at the gym with me every day. So it's not that. It's the fact that I'm not eating right? Well, if I was just doing this by myself, right, I wouldn't have anyone to answer to, right? I could try to convince myself, I'm bloated, or it's just that time of the month, or can't do that when you're around someone who knows more than you and is where you want to be. Those excuses aren't going to fly. And so he was like, you still on that? It's so funny how he said it, because I had just got off the elliptical. He always had me warm up on the elliptical first before we started any weightlifting. And he scratched his head. He was like, so you sticking to that meal plan I gave you? Just completely cut me off guard. I wasn't expecting no talk about none of that. He just randomly said it. He's like, you still on that meal plan I gave you? And I was like, huh? Like, you could tell somebody lying. And I was like, yeah, what? He's like, okay, so what did you eat today? I was like, oh shoot, he put me on the spot for real. I didn't even have time to come up with the lie. So I was like, well, you know how people lie. Like you can just tell they're lying. And he's like, Jazz, I can't see that you've lost any weight. And at this point, because I was at the beginning stages, he was like, at this point, this is where you lose the most amount of weight quickly, because it's just a complete change to what your body is used to. And I don't see any weight loss. I was like, dang, you got me. You caught me. I haven't lost any weight. And so literally after that session, I went back into my phone. I pulled out the meal plans. I went to the grocery store. I got all of the things off of the list, and I actually followed through with the plan that he gave me, and I started losing weight. All because I had that accountability that I did not have if he was not my trainer. You're not above the program. And you can try to convince yourself all you want that you can do it all on your own. That's your ego and pride keeping you stuck. Pride always comes before the fall. You don't know everything. You don't know most things. And being around someone who is way further along, who's where you want to be, is by far the best thing that you could do for yourself. I had invested in myself when it came to my coaching business. I shared that in another video, how I hired a mentor who literally taught me how to run my TikTok lives, and I made so much money doing it the way she told me to do it. I recently decided to invest in myself again, right? You guys know I'm scaling my business and I've hired help, but I also decided to invest in myself again, not the business, but myself, right? One of my fitness goals is to have a six-pack. That's something that I've always wanted, but I still haven't achieved it yet. In order to get a six-pack, you just have to be at your leanest. Everyone has abs. It's just all under the fat, okay? And it's all nutrition. It's all nutrition. It doesn't matter how many crunches you do. It's all nutrition. To get that six-pack, it's strictly your diet, right? But I still haven't achieved that goal. I've lost 100 pounds. I've gotten extremely lean, but I'm not lean enough yet for that six-pack. And, I haven't been working with a personal trainer now for about a year. I've been pretty much doing it on my own. Still working out and stuff, but I don't have that trainer in my life anymore. So I was like, you know what? It's been a year, right? Still don't have the six-pack. Instead of me trying to fight the program, I'm like, I need to get around someone who is where I want to be, who's already at their leanest, who's maintained a six-pack for years, right? I was like, I think it's time to get a personal trainer again. I think it's time. Not that I don't know how to eat right, because I do. I lost 100 pounds. Not that I don't know how to exercise. I know how to weight lift. I've gotten very strong over the years. My first trainer, he taught me everything I know. I know how to do these things. But the problem is I don't have someone in my life who is fitness-wise where I want to be. That's a problem. That's a problem. So I decided to invest in myself again, and I hired another personal trainer. And just doing the sessions this past week, I've only been with him for a week now. We're about to enter week 2. It's already just changed my mindset and my level of focus. We've been dialing in on my nutrition again. He's been working me like crazy in the gym, doing more than what I've been doing in the gym, right? And I'm just like, wow, I'm just so glad that I decided. I can already feel it just mentally, the change, and, just pushing me past my limits and telling me, Jazz, you got this, no, we're going to do 5 more. It's that type of energy that I missed. And I'm so glad I decided to reinvest in myself again. And so I'm making this video for you because a lot of times, or sometimes we'll say things like, well, we can't afford it. But that's not true. I don't care what it is you're trying to do. That's not true, because you order DoorDash. You go on vacations. You go and you shop on Amazon. You shop on TikTok Shop. You do all of the things. But for some reason, you don't even believe that you're worthy of the investment in whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. And I'm going to say this one last time because I really want it to stick. If you already had what you needed to get to where you wanted to be, you would already be there by now. But the reason why you're struggling with getting to where you want to go, whatever that is, whether that's losing weight, making more money, whatever it is, it's because you refuse to invest in yourself. The circle that you have around you is not where you want to be. If it was, you would already be there. You are going to have to change your environment and get around people who are already where you want to go. And most of the time, that is going to require you to pay for their time, to pay for their knowledge. It's going to require you to invest in yourself. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. I cannot wait to read what you have to say. Also, make sure you guys join the Patreon. The link is down below in my description. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.